From Smugglers Notch to the Vermont Cheese Trail, here are our top 10 places that you need to visit in Vermont. Smugglers Notch. Smugglers Notch offers a great getaway, literally. Situated in the Mount Mansfield State Forest, the mountain pass is surrounded by evergreens and mountains, and it's so secluded that it was a favorite route used to smuggle liquor during Prohibition. Smugglers, as it's endearingly known, has been voted the #1 resort in the East year after year, and there's every reason that it should be. There's something to enjoy all year round. Fall is absolutely packed with fun festivals, and there's always events being thrown like the Beer and Disc Golf Weekend. Located in the snow belt, some of the best snow skiing in the US can be found with 3 big mountains to choose from. Visiting in the summer is really cool too, with various activities like ziplining, hiking, biking, boating, and fishing in the river, along with playing at the mountainside water playground. Woodstock. What really rocks through is a trip to Woodstock. No, not the 60s 3-day Peace Out concert site. We're talking about Woodstock, Vermont. Located in the east central part of the state, just 15 miles from New Hampshire, this charming little village is as picturesque as it gets, with 3 red-covered bridges and some of the most beautiful seasons in the nation. Tucked in the Green Mountains and home to the only national park in the state, you won't get the small-town blues with sprinklings of bouquets to shop at, art galleries to tour, and miles of nature trails to hike. One of the sweetest attractions in Woodstock is Sugarbrush Farm, a 500-acre working farm where you can find out firsthand how maple syrup is tapped and processed, along with grazing on free samples including 4 grades of maple syrup, mustards, jams, and 15 kinds of cheese. The Cheese Trail. Now, if that's not cheesy enough for you, make your way, pun intended, down the Vermont Cheese Trail. The scenic 290-mile loop starts at Plymouth Notch and runs its way to the Canadian border. There are 49 farms and factories that are featured on the trail, most of which offer tours and have retail stores and samples on site. More than 150 varieties of cheese are available, and if cheese alone isn't cutting it for you, don't whine about it. Or maybe do. Spoonwood is a slice of heaven where you're guaranteed to have a dairy good time pairing wine and cheese together. If you end up indulging in too much, you can always book a room at their bed and breakfast. Lodging. Speaking of rooms, lodging in Vermont isn't just for snoozing, but rather it's an experience. The Moose Meadows Lodge and Treehouse in Duxbury also goes out on a limb to deliver awesome mountain views within a 2-story treehouse. Here, you can enjoy a 5-person hot tub, trout pond, glass-covered gazebo, and hiking trails along the 86 acres of land. The Marble Mansion Inn will treat you like royalty when you stay at this 19th century masterpiece, which comes complete with crystal chandeliers, marble fireplaces, and 4 poster canopy beds. Overlooking Fairhaven's Village Green, it's just a 6-minute walk to the Castleton River. Also on the menu is a complimentary breakfast. Abbott's Glen Inn and Campground in West Halifax brings in a whole new meaning to being minimalistic because clothing is optional. Streak on down to the sauna or hot tub, take a dip in the pond or river, play some golf, pool or darts, or even ping pong at their clubhouse. Massage services are available and gourmet dinners and breakfasts are always served. AW-TAWK-WUH-CHEE River and QUEE-CHEE Gorge. If you're up for an extreme adventure, then you need to head on out to AW-TAWK-WUH-CHEE River, where you'll be able to get your thrills whitewater rafting. You can also do various other activities, from fly and trout fishing, tubing, and kayaking, which are all popular activities. Land lover travelers can walk from the river to Mill Pond Falls to check out the amazing 30-foot cascade. Connecting the banks of the QUEE-CHEE Gorge Bridge, the oldest surviving steel arch bridge, which was built in 1911, the gorge is basically the Grand Canyon of Vermont, and is 165 feet deep and 13,000 years old. The AW-TAWK-WUH-CHEE River Trail weaves around the river's edge through 3 miles of woodlands and fields. The grass along the riverbanks stays mowed for safe footing, and you can check out the remains of the old railroad which was laid over 150 years ago. Easton Park is all green and serene and is the perfect place to have a picnic or take a dip in the river. The Burlington Bike Path. The Burlington Bike Path is yet another spoke in the wheel of fun things to do in Vermont. The fact that the trail was carved from the Central Vermont Railway in the 70s ends up putting a new spin on it. The path is over 7 miles long and is a fairly easy ride, meandering through beaches and parks, and captures some of the best views of Lake Champlain, the Adirondacks, and the city. The adventure doesn't have to stop where the trail ends, though. A bike ferry will end up taking you and your bike to the Colchester Causeway Path near Winooski, so that way you can keep on continuing with your journey on a multi-skilled 10.9-mile trailback that swings by a lake and is accessible the whole year round. Stowe. Stowe away to Stowe, which is the ski capital of the East. The birthplace of alpine skiing in Vermont, the 40 miles of trails that cut through the Mount Mansfield are world class. The peak is over 4,000 feet, an adventurous drop down for daredevils, but you'll also find cross-country and snowshoeing sports. Skiing isn't the only thing that you can do here in Stowe, though. The gondola sky ride gives a bird's eye view of the breathtaking landscape, and a 5-mile path winds through the west branch of the Little River to the top-notch resort for hiking and biking. If you like brews, then you can't lose. It's basically heaven for beer lovers. The Alchemist has a popular potion called the Heavy Topper. Idle Time Brewing offers suds from a repurposed blacksmith shop, and Von Trapp Brewing has the best ever Austrian lagers on tap. Stowe cider is always flowing freely, no matter where you roam in the state. Lake Champlain. Lake Champlain borders the US and Canada and extends on up into Canada. The lake is so big that it was once classified as a Great Lake, so there's plenty of room to boat, fish, and swim in the warmer months. There are also hidden sandy beaches tucked away, so that way you can beat the heat and the crowd. The Champlain Islands total 30 miles and separate Vermont from New York. A ferry will then take you across some of the most scenic roads in the nation. There are farms sprinkled about, so that way you can visit many of the breweries, wineries, and cheese-making locations, along with farmers market and artisan studios that the state has to offer. Stop in for a taste of the past when you tour Snow Farm Vineyard and Winery, which is the first wine distillery in Vermont. The Candy Lab is a real sweet spot to stop in for a lick, and Papa Ray's Allaholm Farm is a must where you can grab a maple cream and pet a miniature horse or one of the rambunctious goats. You can also island hop by boat or kayak when the lake's not frozen over, and if it is frozen, you can chill out ice fishing. If you're staying the night though, you'll find hotels, houses, cabins, and even camping available. Church Street Marketplace. Even if shopping's not in your bag, the Church Street Marketplace is an experience that you won't want to miss out on when you're in Vermont. Located in downtown Burlington, there's over 100 boutiques, outlets, and shops to be able to choose from that sell everything from designer handbags and clothing to furniture, sports equipment, and jewelry. The street isn't just a sanctuary for shopping, though. In fact, it's a great place to find some delicious dining, like the vintage-style Linguini's Bistro and the rustic chic Italian pizza hotspot, Pascoli Ristorante. Or you can just catch up with a kettle cart for a snack. There are many taverns and bars that are sure to wet your whistle, and many historical architecture to appreciate along the way. Year-round festivals like Beer Fest and Pumpkin Fest, live music, and random roaming entertaineries are all in store for those who visit here. Bennington Battle Museum. The Bennington Battle Museum is a big hit with many tourists. You can spot the 306-foot-high obelisk from miles away, marking the spot where the 1777 battle with the British was fought, which had proved to be a turning point in the war that would eventually be won by the Americans. There are 412 steps leading to the top of the monument, but you can take the elevator if you'd rather do that. The museum is oozing with history and is best known for a collection of works and a schoolhouse painting from Grandma Moses. Other treasures can be found too, like Victorian quilts, American glassware, toys, pottery, and furniture, all from the colonial and Civil War eras.